Welcome to your first module on your degree programme here at Marjon. We've put together a short video to introduce us as staff, the content incorporated into your first module, our teaching approach for this module, a quick assessment overview, and your suggested reading list. This module intends to support your induction into university and academic study. Therefore, we will focus on your study skills such as using the library, using our search engines to find reliable information, and referencing the work you read in your assignments. Please watch this short video before your first session, or if you aren't able to access this until after, please watch it as soon as you can after.
Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Thomas. I'm one of the members of staff on the immersive modules for both the Football Development and Coaching Programme and also the Sports Development and Coaching Programme. You'll see me online predominantly to start with because I'm not yet able to return to campus, but I do look forward to catching up with you all online. I'll be doing some sessions around the participation stage of the Sports Development and Football Development Continuum. I'll also be doing some stuff around the elite stage of that particular continuum as well. I'll also be doing some work around study skills, so around how to write reflectively, essay planning, and the reason for that is because I'm quite involved in, for example, around reflection with things like event management and placement in the second year. So I look forward to developing some of those ideas and some of those tools with you. Like I say, look forward to catching up with you all soon, and I hope you enjoy the module.
Hello, my name's Lee. I'm the module leader. I'm going to be taking you through most of your face-to-face delivery. You'll have a couple of sessions with Tash as well. My role is essentially to support you through this module, to help you with any queries you have or any skills that you require or require support with. This module is essentially going to be based around your study skills, your career development, and then introducing you to the content required to then move into the next semester A modules. If you have any issues, please contact me. Please let me know and we can have a one-on-one chat at any time. Look forward to starting with you. We are using a blended approach to our teaching in this module. We have planned for a number of traditional face-to-face sessions following social distancing and COVID guidelines. These will take place on-site, in classrooms, and will be on your timetables with a set classroom. On the weekly schedules in this module, these will be highlighted green. We are calling these face-to-face and located in the sense that they will happen in person and at a specific physical location. We aim to record all of these sessions, with these being made available on Learning Space within 48 hours for anyone who didn't attend. We're also planning to live feed as many of these as we can, so anyone who has to work from home but is available at that specific time can log in from home. We will do our best to support those from home, whether they are taking part live or watching back after. However, please remember, these sessions are designed for face-to-face delivery. We are also running a number of sessions online. Some of these will be live, where we log in to Microsoft Teams and take part in the lesson as if it were in a classroom. This will clearly be a bit different, as you won't have your peers around you. However, we'll be planning to use breakout rooms over Microsoft Teams for a number of these sessions to ensure there is still opportunity for you to discuss the content with your peers, as you would if you were in the classroom. As this may be new for you, we would expect there to be some technical issues which we are happy to support you with. The plan for these sessions are for everyone to have their cameras on. However, if this isn't possible, or you feel uncomfortable with this, you can still access this session without your camera. As these sessions are online and not in a physical classroom, you will need to click on the session link to access the virtual classroom. The link will not be in your calendars on your Marjon timetables. Instead, we have put these links on your weekly schedule on Learning Space and in the drop-down menus for each week on Learning Space. We'll show you exactly where later in this video. We'll be aiming to record all of these sessions, and if you're unable to attend, you can watch this back later. Please be aware that any small group discussion in breakout rooms will not be recorded, so you may miss out on some of these discussions. The third and final type of lesson will be called online and asynchronous. These sessions will be online, however they won't be live. This essentially means that you can access this session in your own time, although some sessions will be planned with the expectancy that you've accessed these already. On Learning Space there are suggested dates for you to complete these by. These are only suggestions, and we are aware that sometimes things get in the way. However, you should work towards these mini deadlines as often as you can. In this module, we are using these sessions to mainly set you tasks to complete either by yourself or in small groups, which will help you develop your understanding of some of the topics we're covering in this module, or will be directly related to your assessment. As these sessions aren't live, you may feel you can't access support when you need it. For example, in a live session, you can ask the question at the same time. It's important you ask us for help if you are unsure of anything during these tasks. This can either be done by sending one of us a message on Microsoft Teams or by booking in to see us. We'll cover this more in the first session. You can find the week schedule at the top of each weekly drop-down menu. So if we open week 1, at the top you will see weekly schedule week 1, and if we open that, you then get your weekly schedule. On each weekly schedule, you will find the date, the time, and the room number here in the left-hand column, and the topic title, your lecturer, and the teaching approach here in the right-hand column. Remember those terms we used earlier. Face-to-face located sessions are highlighted in green. Live online sessions, also known as connected as we're connecting you through a virtual classroom, are in blue. Those activities and tasks which we set you each week, but you have some flexibility over when to do these, are known as asynchronous and are in yellow. As you can see, this week we have our face-to-face located sessions on Tuesday and Thursday. Most of your face-to-face sessions will be delivered by myself, with a couple from Tash Mills. You will also have one live online connected session on Microsoft Teams on Wednesday with Tash, and 2 on Fridays, mostly with Ryan Thomas, although Tash Mills and myself will have the odd session with you here as well. To access these sessions, you will need to click here to access this session, or if we go back to Learning Space, the main page, you will see underneath the sessions which are online, live, connected. We've also got the link here. Click here to access this session. Clicking either of these will open up Microsoft Teams for you. This is far better if Microsoft Teams is installed on your laptop, as you have more functionality. But if you don't have Microsoft Teams installed on your device, you can access it through the browser. By clicking on this link, it will take you into the browser version. These sessions in yellow, these asynchronous sessions, you'll be set tasks, which if we go back to the Learning Space main page, you will find, for example, student tasks, and you can click here to see what your tasks are for that session and when you should try and complete those by. Please make sure you complete these as we'll be regularly monitoring your attendance, engagement, and completion of tasks. Your assessment for this module is split into 2 tasks. The first task is individual and more extensive in terms of the amount you have to do, and that is your EduBlog task. You are required to build your own professional website through EduBlogs. We'll cover this more in the first session. However, there is additional support on this at this link here at the bottom of the page. The EduBlog task requires you to build 5 different pages, as you can see here. So we've got About Me, Study Skills, Employability, Multi-Skills, and Role of the Coach. Now the About Me page requires you to describe yourself and give yourself a brief outline of you and your interests with an appropriate picture. So think of this as your professional blog or your professional social media. Your Study Skills page requires you to complete 2 worksheet tasks. We are going to introduce these within the first week, and you will get time to build these within your set tasks anyway, but that might require you to do a little bit more beyond. Once you've completed these 2 worksheets, you can upload these onto the Study Skills page of your EduBlog. In the first session, we will also introduce a gap analysis sheet, and that's where you're going to review your current study skills and the effectiveness of those. Now that might be updated throughout the module. So what you do in the first session, by the 2nd, 3rd or 4th week, you might actually think that you've improved some of your study skills and you might want to tweak that sheet. So we wouldn't expect you to upload that until the end of the module. You then need to produce a short written reflection where you review your wider study skills, such as how well you manage your time, how organised you are, your motivation to study and whether that changes at different parts of the day, your concentration levels and whether you have a certain amount of time you can concentrate for before you need to break, and how well you know that. The effectiveness of your workspaces. For example, that might be your home workspace. For example, do you have a desk you can work at, or are you essentially working from your bedroom? How well do you utilize other workspaces such as the Marjan library or any additional kind of professional workspace that you have access to? And then how effectively you take notes. There might be other study strategies that you want to talk about as well, but these are kind of the guidance that you could follow. Your employability page is going to require you to find 5 related jobs to your study program. Now those jobs should be current, and by current we mean now, as in they are live now, or they were jobs that existed within the previous 12 months. Those jobs must also have a job description. If it doesn't meet the job description or it's current or in the last 12 months, you unfortunately won't be able to use that job as one of your 5. Now, if you find a job that's 13, 14, 15 months old and it's close and it's a really good job and it does have a job description, then you can get my approval as the module leader to use it, but we would tend to say it must be within the past 12 months. Now, with the job description, what you will need to do is download it from the website, plus any other documentation you find. There might be documents around salary or other benefits. Once you've downloaded all of those, you would then need to go to your EduBlog page, post the link of the job that you found, but then upload the documentation that you've downloaded, such as the job description. It won't be enough for you just to post those as links. You will need to physically download them and then re-upload them onto your EduBlog page. From there, you will then select one of those jobs to focus on, and you will create and upload a CV that is specific for that job and a supporting statement that is specific for that job. Now, we do have timetable sessions and support in your 3rd and 4th week of this module based around building an effective CV and an effective supporting statement. So you would then need to produce those and upload those onto your employability page. Your 4th page is around multi-skills. Now, the work you do with Tash Mills in this program will solely be based around a level 2 multi-skills qualification. Now, within that, there will be a number of worksheets and tasks that you will need to fulfill to achieve that qualification. And all of those tasks that Tash sets you around this qualification, you will need to then upload onto the 4th page, which you will call multi-skills. The 5th page is going to be called Role of the Coach, and you're going to complete a short report, approximately 500 to 1,000 words, but we're not necessarily going to be too rigid on the word count at this stage. And in that, you're going to discuss the role of the coach in understanding the needs of the participants that you might coach, but also the needs of non-participants, for example, assistant coaches. And it might be things like they need to know the session plan in advance, they need to know the health and safety requirements, they need to know their responsibilities. But you'll cover that in more depth with Tash as well. So you're going to produce that into a 500 to 1,000 word report. Now, your report will need to be written in the 3rd person, and by that we mean you're not allowed to use words like I or we. So you're going to be writing it as if someone was going to read it from the outside, and you're going to explain to them why it's really important that the coach understands the needs of participants and non-participants. You will also be expected to reference correctly using the APA referencing system. We're going to cover that more in the 2nd week of this module, and this is going to be your first real go at putting together correct references. The deadline for this is Friday the 30th of October. Now, we do finish teaching on Friday the 23rd of October, and then we go into Independent Study Week. So you do have 7 days from completion of your final session to put all of this together and get this submitted onto Turnitin, and we'll explain how you do that more within the module. Now, what you will also see is on the 2nd page below, you have a marking framework. Now, the way we're assessing this this assessment is split out across these 4 components, and every assessment you do within your degree will be split out across these 4. So knowledge and understanding, your intellectual skills, your practical skills, and your transferable skills. And what we will do for each assessment is tell you what percentage we are weighted towards each of these 4 components. So in this assessment, 50% of the grade we give you will be weighted towards your transferable skills. Other assignments might be much higher in terms of knowledge and understanding. What we then also produced is some bullet points here, which you can read through. These are the things that we are going to assess you against. So 20% of your mark will be based on your knowledge and understanding, and we're going to be looking at how well you understand these things. Okay, so you might want to spend a bit more time on transferable skills in this assessment because it's got a higher weighting, but I certainly wouldn't recommend you neglect any of the other things. What we then have on page 3 is a generic descriptor of the types of things that you need to do to get into each different marking band. So if you're looking at a 40 to 49%, then these are the types of things that you will be demonstrating. If you're looking at 50 to 59, 60 to 69, etc. This assessment is pass-fail, if I go back up to the marking framework. So the grade doesn't necessarily matter, you just need to pass. To pass, you must get 40%. Now, what we are going to do is give you a shadow grade. So we will tell you the percentage it would have accrued if it were being marked live, if it were being marked as if every other assignment after this. So you can still work towards a grade and you can still use this, but in terms of what counts, it will simply be pass-fail. Your second assessment in this module was a presentation task. Your presentation we delivered as a group, approximately about 3 of you, and we're going to call that your huddle. We'll discuss what your huddle means more throughout this module. Now, as a huddle, you're required to plan and deliver a 10 to 15 minute presentation where you discuss and review the participant pathways in football. So you should discuss each stage of the sports development continuum pyramid. So for example, foundation, participation, performance, and elite. Now, through your discussions of each of those stages, you should include examples of opportunities that are available at each stage in football. For example, it might be a local coaching company going to support a primary school in terms of their foundation level sport. It might be clubs or community events that exist within the participation level, etc. So you should provide some examples. You should also discuss the role of the coach and the role of the sports development officer in each of those stages. And the role will be very different. So what a coach does in the foundation stage compared to what a coach will do in the elite stage, where performers are potentially competing internationally, will be very different. So you will have to describe how the role changes of a coach and a sports development officer across those 4 stages. And then you should have a critical discussion about the effectiveness of the pathway in football. Is it a fluid pathway? Are all 4 stages equally weighted, or are there significant opportunities for participants to progress if they desire to? Or actually, can you see some issues within the pathway? Does it potentially stop opportunity, or are there areas there that are too big or too small and it doesn't allow progression? Now, each member of your group will be required to submit your PowerPoint on Turnitin, and that's before your presentation. Your presentation is due or will be delivered on Thursday the 15th of October. So you will have to make sure that each member has uploaded the PowerPoint on Turnitin before you present. Now, that can be 20 minutes before you present if you wish, but it must be on there before you present. What's really important there is you make sure you finalize your PowerPoint before everyone goes on to do it, because if someone in the group does it 4 days before and then you make some small changes, you're then going to be submitting different PowerPoints and that will cause you an issue. So make sure it's finished and then each of you upload it onto Turnitin. Your grade will be awarded as a group. However, we do reserve the right to change this if an individual performs significantly above or below the rest of their group in relation to the planning and or delivery of your presentation. Now, your presentation is marked as a pass-fail. Pass grade is required in both this assessment and the EduBlog assessment to pass the module. If you fail, then we will discuss the resit option that can be provided for you. In terms of the marking framework, we've still heavily weighted it towards transferable, but less so than the EduBlog. So the practical skills component has more weighting now. So if we combine these two together, that's 70%. Essentially, what we're looking at here is the quality of your presentation. So the quality of the PowerPoint design, your verbal and non-verbal communication, your ability to work as a group, your reading base, your using appropriate APA system of referencing, and then showing evidence that you've prepared this and you've rehearsed this and you've not just turned up on the day and kind of done it off the cuff. So that will be weighted towards 70% of your grade. Now again, don't neglect this, but we're looking at your knowledge and your understanding here of the sports development continuum and the role of the coach. And then here, your ability to evaluate the effectiveness of each stage of the continuum in football. So that's 30% of the grade. As we said, it's pass-fail, but we will give you a shadow grade. One of the key differences between studying in higher education and your previous education experience is around your reading. You are now required to read a lot more than you've been used to before, and you are expected to read from more academic sources. This is something which you will need to increase through your programme, and by the end of your degree you will spend most of your study time reading academic sources. At the start of your degree, you should get used to reading from books and academic journals, and increasing the amount of reading you do throughout your first year. On Learning Space for your module, you have a key module information resource in your module information drop-down menu. If you open this and go to the final section of this, section 5, reading list, you can see we provided you with a reading list. You do not have to read all of this. However, this is a good list of reliable sources linked to this module. Clearly, the more you read, the more informed you will be. As a degree student, you are expected to develop your knowledge through taught sessions and wider research, such as reading. Here's a suggestion of books which are available in the library, as you can see here. You won't have to read the entire book, as that can take some time. However, you will find key chapters in these which link to this module. Reading a chapter can be a good way to enhance your understanding. This list isn't exhaustive, and you can read other books you find. There's also a link here which will take you directly into the library catalogue, and that has more books linked to this module. You will have a session in the first week of your module where you will learn how to use the library, and where we will explain why the catalogue is a good place to find books. We've also recommended some journals. To make things easier, you can view a journal as an organisation, for example, the ones listed here. They then release volumes at set points which they decide, and then a number of issues per volume. For example, they may release a volume every year, and they may release 4 different issues within that volume. Within each issue are a number of articles. What we've listed here aren't articles. These are the journal names. So within that, you will find lots of different articles that will be divided by different issues which sit within a volume. Articles accepted by these journals are written by academics who are mostly employed by universities. Arguably, these are the most reliable sources and the most reliable way for you to develop your knowledge. This is because these sources are peer reviewed. You'll learn more about what this means in the first week of your module. However, this essentially means every article has been reviewed by other academics within that area before it is accepted. This is important as it means it's been scrutinised, whereas anyone can write a book or anyone can put anything online. The main drawback of journal articles are they can be quite difficult to read and include specific language which may be difficult to follow. They are also quite long. However, you should start trying to read these as early as possible. By the time this first module is finished, you should be ready to start reading these, because the next 2 modules in semester A will include a number of journal articles, so you will need to get yourself ready in preparation for reading these. You can also access information from websites. This can be quite dangerous as anyone can put anything online. Therefore, we don't know whether it's reliable. You should avoid websites like Wikipedia, and if you do use these, then you should read around what you've learnt after to check it's reliable. You should not reference Wikipedia. When you read from websites, and that informs what you include in your assessments, we as the marker will be quite cautious about the reliability of what you're saying, and we're more likely to check that. Some websites are more reliable, for example, organisations who operate within this sector, such as these. As I said earlier, it's important for you to get used to reading early, seeing this as a habit and something that is essential to your learning. If your learning only comes from your taught sessions, you will find your degree quite difficult. Combining your taught sessions with regular reading will have a positive effect on your progress and therefore your assessments and grades. If you aren't in the habit to do this, start slow and steady. Try reading for 30 minutes each day until you're ready to build this up a little. If you're used to reading a lot already, maybe you should try to read in longer periods. For example, an hour or two at a time, but maybe every other day instead. If you're finding this difficult, please come and speak to us. Your PDT, your tutor, your module leader, or other lecturers and student support can be really useful as a tool to help you improve this. Good luck with this module. I hope you're looking forward to starting. We are certainly looking forward to helping you through this and onto your next modules after.